My name is Mónica Torribas and I am a researcher on the Iraq project. I wish to introduce the article Sexuality, Gender, Religion and Interculturality on news stories on civilization and cultures broadcast by Spanish television, published in La Revista Latina de Comunicación Social. From the field of communication, we understand that cultures and civilizations are stories, narratives that reflect unique identifying features. These stories are to be found in multiple discourses, but that of the media is one of the most influential in society. In the research described in our article, we analyze Spanish televised news stories on the topics of sexuality, gender, religion, and interculturality. Our goal was to discover how audiences and experts interpret such news. In relation to the methodology, the research was divided into three phases. First, we perform a discourse analysis of the different identities framed in the above four news categories. We then analyze discussion group data in terms of different audience interpretations of the news stories. And finally, using the Delphi method, we analyze the opinions of several experts regarding the same news stories. The news corpus analyzed consisted of 6 articles. The news on sexuality reported on surrogate pregnancy on behalf of a male homosexual couple. That on gender examined the participation of women and foreigners in the San Fermin bull running festival. That on religion referred to the emergence of a new Arabic channel, Maria Televisión, staffed by women journalists wearing the niqab. And finally, the interculturality story covered a raid on unlicensed street vendors, usually undocumented immigrants, in the Lavapiés neighborhood of Madrid, and the subsequent ban of massive indiscriminate raids of this kind. In reference to sexuality, the news represents homosexuality as a hindrance of the achievement of heteronormativity. In the focus groups, the older adults tended to disagree with surrogate pregnancy, whereas the younger people were more understanding. The experts considered that although the information was heterosexist, it represented a significant advance in terms of LGBT visibility. With regard to gender, the news depicted the normative nature of social action that exclude women and foreigners from participating in the San Fermin bull running festival. Identity becomes a discursive category far removed from the objective facts. When younger people in the focus groups show more tolerance and respect for otherness, older adults were less critical. The experts agreed regarding the paradox implied in the stereotypical construction of identity. Thus, although women may have been represented positively, they were still perceived to be less daring than men. As the foreigners, although the perception was generally pluralistic, there was a bias in the stereotyping of white middle-class youths seeking the thrill of danger. The salient findings regarding religions indicate that the news stories build conclusive narratives seeking to establish the significance of the phenomenon. The focus group participants, highly critical of the communicative intentions of broadcasters, felt that the news fed Islamophobia. The experts, meanwhile, denounced the partiality and lack of context and a sensationalist approach that focused unduly on the journalist's clothing. Finally, in the news about interculturality, how immigrants were represented was conditioned by their socioeconomic status. Participants in the focus group felt that the medium was manipulative and biased, yet they themselves tended to reflect the kind of anti-immigrant discourse transmitted by TV. The experts were unanimous in considering the news to be oversimplified. Socioeconomic status was used to positively or negatively represent particular nationalities. In conclusion, both audiences and experts were highly critical of the news stories they were asked to interpret, clearly perceiving both failings and stereotyping. Nonetheless, in addressing these issues in general terms, all the audiences tended to abide by the same prejudices that they denounced in the news.